Thought I'd make a quick video showing you how to better position text on the screen. So I'm going to run my game right now. And I've got my game title here, Capture the Flag, roughly in the middle of the screen. And the way I positioned it in my show title screen section is, I had the text, I rendered the text in whatever the large font size was. And when I blitted it to the screen, this position 100, 250 is basically just the result of some trial and error until I got it roughly in the center of the screen. And you can see it's not great because there's a little extra space here than there is over here, and it's not centered vertically either. All right, and so I could keep fiddling with these numbers until it looks about right. But then if I change the window dimensions or change the text, then I have to go position everything again. So instead, let's look at how we can use the text rectangle and position it exactly where we want. So I'm just going to insert another line in here, and I'm going to say the rect is going to be the rendered. So this is the rendered like text box here, and we'll get the rect. And then we can position the rectangle exactly by any of its attributes. And rectangles have attributes for the top, bottom, left, right, the center. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say the rect.center x is equal to, and I'm going to go up here to the top, and let's look at my screen is 800 wide. And so I lost my place. There it is. So I could say 400 because that would be the exact center of the screen. And so but I don't want to do that. What I want to do instead is say width divided by 2. And that way, if I change my screen dimensions, I won't have to reposition anything. It'll still be exactly in the center of the screen. Also, I'm using the double division here, and that's to ensure that I'm getting an integer coordinate for the center x, right? There's no such thing as decimal arguments or decimal pixels. So I'm going to use the double division to ensure that. And I'm also going to go ahead and I'll do the center y, which will be the height divided by 2. So let's run this again. Right? And now, I guess some other things are, should be exactly centered. I wonder. Oh, I didn't change it. Okay. And then so when I blit it, instead of passing in the coordinates right here, what I'm going to do is pass in the rectangle that we positioned. And so there we go. Now we have it exactly centered. I actually want to put something on the screen here that says, we got to press the space bar to start. So I'm going to do a little bit more text, and I'm going to copy this, and I'll say press space to start. And I'm going to render this in my small font. And okay, so this is going to put it on the screen. And now we've got the overlapping text because I centered that exactly as well. And so what I want to do is take the title, and actually I'll nudge it up a little bit. And so I'm, instead of positioning text based on the center of the text, I'm going to position the bottom of the text at the height divided by 2. So the bottom of the title text will be at the center of the screen. And I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to say the top of our little instructions text will be at the center of the screen. And that looks pretty good. I think, maybe I could use a little bit more space in between here. So I'll just, let's see. I'm just going to I'll subtract a few pixels there, and I'll add a few pixels there. So we're going to take the title text and nudge it up a little bit, the instructions text and nudge down a little bit. And I think that looks pretty good now. Okay, so let's address one more place where we can position text a little bit better. I guess we could do the same thing for the end screen, but I'll leave that for you to figure out. So I'm going to go over to my scoring here. And again, these are places where I really just took guesses to get the score positioned in the right place. And so, let's see, where's my display score? Yeah, display score again. Yeah. So this is the text for the score text for player one, and I wanted it to be 20 pixels over and 20 pixels down. And then here, I wanted it roughly in the same place, right? But this number was kind of a guess. My screen was 800, and you can see that it looks roughly the same. But you can see when I'll go get a point here, right? And some numbers are going to be different, are going to be wider than others, and so the space might change over here because we're positioning off the top left corner. Also, think about what's going to happen as this score gets to be a two-digit number. It might start to spill off the edge of the screen. So what I really want to do is position the player one score by the upper left-hand corner of its rectangle, and I'm going to position the player two score by the upper right-hand corner of its rectangle. So we're going to go 20 over and 20 down, and on this side I'll go 20 over and 20 down. And that way, as this score gets into two-digit numbers, it'll come out this way, and this one will come out this way as it gets to two-digit numbers. So we'll go into the score text, and so let's just follow the same thing. So I'm going to say that rect equals rendered.get rect, and I'll say rect.top equals 20. I'll say left equals 20, and rect.top equals 20, and then we'll position by the rect again. And we'll do the same thing for player two. Only this time, we'll do the rect.right. And I don't want to say 20. What I'm going to do is do the screen width minus 20. And so the right edge of the player two text will always be 20 pixels over from the right edge of the screen. And so now these spaces here are identical on either side. And as player two scores points, right, and even as I won't go for a long time here, but even if this crept into a two-digit number, you'd start to see that the numbers would come out this way and they wouldn't go off the screen. All right, so I hope you see in this video that we can use rectangles to get more precise text positioning, and you can go ahead and incorporate that into your game however you see fit.